It being shortly after 5 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Agenda review and disposition.
I'm all set, Madam Chair.
This is an install.
And we have the minutes of the public session of the meeting on April 18th.
Quiet.
Are there any corrections or amendments? No. If not, they stand approved as written. Mr. Halloran?
Yes, Madam Chair. Attached to your agenda, you'll find guidance from legal counsel regarding holding a public hearing to ratify the results of the school district meeting with regard to the two districts, Holderness and Ashland, that had voting other than on March 14th. The legislature's passed a bill and the governor signed it that says basically that this board needs to hold a public hearing and post. There are some posting requirements, obviously, and then after the public hearing and any input you may get, the board merely needs to vote to ratify the results of the meeting. So basically, what I would suggest is, in place of a regular school board meeting in early June, because we really won't have much for you to come together for, that we use either Tuesday, June 6th, Wednesday, June 7th, or Thursday, June 8th to hold a public hearing on that issue. And then when you ratify that, then that'll be approved, be signed off on by legal counsel, and then we'll be clear for the bond market for our bond. Also, it'll be for the historic record that everything's been approved properly.
All right.
I would have said, since we're usually gathering on the 6th anyway, why don't we just gather on the 6th?
That would be my preference. Are folks okay with that?
It's Tuesday, right?
That's a Tuesday anyway.
Yes.
If you need a motion, I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Do we need a motion on that, Mark?
Yes, please.
Okay. So move that we will have the public hearing to ratify.
In lieu of our regularly scheduled meeting on Tuesday, June 6th.
At
Yes.
5 o'clock?
Yep, 5 o'clock would be great.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining? Okay, thank you.
And everything else, Madam Chair, is contained within the committee reports.
Thank you. Read.
All right, so tonight in the auditorium is at 7 p.m. is going to be the spring concert for our music department. You'll hear from our chorus, chamber singers, band, and jazz band. The Bobcat Classic Golf Tournament is Sunday, May 21st at Owl's Nest at 10 a.m. We are still accepting teams if any of the board members golf. Baccalaureate is the same day, Sunday, May 21st at 7 p.m. at the Plymouth Congregational Church. Our baccalaureate speaker is Ashley Laufenberg, who teaches phys ed and wellness at the high school. The underclass academic award ceremony is going to be Wednesday, May 24th at 7:30 a.m. in the gym. Students' parents are invited, and there's going to be a breakfast for award winners and their parents in the Bobcat Cafe immediately after. The yearbook assembly is going to be Thursday, May 25th at 1 p.m. in the gymnasium. The senior class is going to present their yearbook, and it will also be the first showing of the senior video. Senior finals run Thursday, May 25th, Friday, May 26th, Tuesday, May 30th, and Wednesday, May 31st. There are no finals on that Monday because on Monday, May 29th, we have Memorial Day, and there will be no school. The senior award ceremony is on Tuesday, May 30th at 5 p.m. at the TSU Silver Center, and seniors graduate June 3rd at 9 a.m. at the PSU Allwell Center. Our commencement speaker is Franz Gonzalez, who is the special education director for the entirety of SCU 48. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Willie Friedman, the senior valedictorian, Peter Templeton, the senior salutatorian, and Cheyenne Lester, the third honors in the senior class. I do have one final piece to my report, but in the interest of the order of the meeting, I believe first we are going to hear from Mr. Gunn regarding the band and chorus activities at the Music in the Parks Festival at Six Flags. Is Mr. Gunn ready?
He'll be here at 5:15. Great. 5:15, I told him.
So we can come back to
We can go back to it?
Yes.
Yep, right.
All righty, thank you, Reed.
He's,
I think you're on, Mr. Parsons.
yeah, I just gotta look to find out what Reed didn't do. He's pretty specific. Nice job, Reed. I just got 2 quick items for the board. I will be ready probably to present at that June 6th. I'll have all the SAT results, specifically from our junior class. They're coming in. The kids have received them, but I haven't received them as of the entire class yet. They look pretty good. And I'm very, very happy to report that we had a very, very successful prom at the courtyard. I want to congratulate the class of 2017. They were a pleasure to work with. We had a new disc jockey, and I forgot to tell him that we played dinner music at 6. So he got right into the dance. And I just looked inside and let him go. I said, there, fine. Okay. So by 8:30, 8:45, they were pretty riled up. They were a pretty good group, though. It was a very successful night, and it was a pleasure doing it. So, Mr. Gunn is here, and he's part of. Reed, you want to? You're good with Mr. Gunn? He can just come on.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Mr. Gunn.
Hey, everybody.
This ain't the same hardware either. So.
Take one pass it. Yep. So we had a very successful and active day on Saturday. Rain held off until about 4 o'clock, which was perfect. So we had our award ceremony at 5. So we had about 80, I think, in the end, about 89 kids show up. We left at about 7 o'clock, performed in the morning, and then we spent the rest of the day in the park. Performances went very well. So I just kind of gave a little brief recap about that. So the concert band, concert choir, and jazz ensemble all placed first in their divisions. And the divisions are based on the size of the school. So schools less than 750 are our division, and then schools larger than that are the AA division. Both the concert band and jazz band were best overall. And Peter Templeton also received a soloist award. He's received that award 3 years in a row now. So really, really proud of him. And most impressive is the last award called the Esprit de Corps, which is an award that doesn't have to do with your performance, but your behavior. And the person presenting the trophies always says it's the most important award. So I'm really proud that we received that on our decorum and behavior, not only in the park, but also at the school during our performances. So I also highlighted some other events that happened this year, because I only get to come here once a year. So,
You're welcome anytime.
so last weekend the Chamber Singers performed with the full orchestra, professional orchestra in the Miami Choral Society on Sunday. It was a really, really great performance. Large Group Music Festival in March, we received a 4 rating, which is equivalent to an A. They changed the rating system, but that's the equivalent. We had 6 singers accepted to the All-State Music Festival, and then 2 singers also accepted to the All-Eastern Music Festival, which is a huge deal, especially for a school our size to get that many students accepted. Really, really proud of that. Then we have 2 seniors who are continuing on, one in music education and the other in music performance. So I'm super proud of them. And then I also put the students who signed up for, or who signed up for classes for next year. Those are the sizes of the ensemble. So 91 in band, 126 in chorus, and then 20 in jazz band. So
We're back.
So short of knocking out a wall, we'll figure out some way to fit them all on stage. But and then next year is also the 4-year Hershey trip, so which we're really excited for. So I wanted to come here to not only share all this, but also to thank you so much for your support. I think music teachers are more connected because of all the honors festivals that we do, and I hear so much negativity from some of my colleagues from administrations and communities, and I'm so thankful that I never ever have to deal with that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Bob Price is thinking of cloning me to solve the numbers problem. So once he figures out how to do that, I'll let you know. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mr. Gunn. Good luck tonight.
Yes. Wow.
I think Reed would like to come back on, Madam Chair.
Yes, Reed. Go ahead, please.
Yes, to conclude my student report, for those of you who are mathematically inclined, you may have noticed that graduation is the 3rd and the next meeting would be the 6th. So this is my final meeting as the student representative of the school board. I would just like to thank you all for allowing me to be here. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. the nominee that we have for my replacement next year. If you do hold a meeting on the 6th, I will be back briefly to introduce him, and he will be introducing any of the new class officers who decide that they would like to attend the next meeting. But as for this, this is my last meeting amongst you, so I thank you all for your kindness, and I'll take my leave now.
All right, nice job, Reed.
And I could have missed it, but did you talk about the concert tonight?
Yes.
He did, good, great, 7 o'clock.
Reed, I just request you get someone who's as thorough as you. That's all we
Oh,
ask.
trust me, we've been working on it.
Thank you. Committee progress reports. Mr. Deachman, I believe you're doing facilities?
Yes, in lieu of the chairperson and the vice chairperson and the backup chairperson, they enlisted me to be the person who ran the meeting. So I did. The first item of business, we adopted the minutes. We had a chart that got passed out to everybody now, Mark, on
Yes.
electric use?
Yep.
Okay, so you have that. It's showing great numbers for what we're saving in the way of kilowatt hours and, as a result, money. Mark has already found a way to spend it, so that's and that was it on facilities. That's all I have. Anyone else remember anything else?
We did the CT project update that we testified in front of the...
Oh, yeah.
Senate.
Mark reported his dealings with the legislature, Lou D'Alessandro, Jeff Bradley et al., and said that he was well received. It took him about 2 minutes to convince them that they ought to remain in the budget. There is no House of Representatives budget, but there is a Senate budget and a governor's budget. And so we're still in the process, and as far as he knows, we'll get our 75%. Because if we don't, we aren't going forward with the project. So as soon as we know that for sure, we can start letting out contracts and hiring people and doing the like. Rochester, who was also up for a project this year, did not fare as well. And so the first thing they did was change the amount they were asking for in the middle of the process. And announced that last night they changed it from 12 million to 9 million or something like that. And anyway, our understanding is that they're out. We're in.
Well, we both can be in. It's just that we had a better hearing than they did.
Yeah. So that's the latest on that.
Thank you.
It was fast last night. I need more people.
And if you will do policy and budget.
Okay,
please.
so, policy and budget. We approved the minutes of April 17th, and we reviewed some scholarships. I don't know whether you've seen them on the website or whatever, but these have been around now for almost a year. Bob Price has suggested that we may want to consider consolidating some of them, adopting a different approach. None of them are generating enough money to award any scholarships, and would barely cover the cost of postage to send out the notice to people to apply. In order to do that, we're going to have to go to the probate or superior court. Obviously, superior, I think it may be probate, it doesn't matter. In any event, to get permission to do that, because we would be altering the terms of the scholarships. They're all income-based. In other words, they are authorized to distribute the income each year in the form of a scholarship. Some of them have not been able to do it even when times were good in the sense of the return they were getting on their deposits in the banks, but now it's virtually all of them are earning 0.07% or whatever the banks are handing out these days. And so anyway, after some discussion, we voted to recommend to the board that, or pursue that with 6 of the 8, was it? 6 of the 8. There were 2 exceptions, one being the Zulius and one being the person.
Young.
Persons.
The person scholarships. Some family members through the years have helped us out by donating sufficient money for a scholarship, even when the scholarship name for their father or brother or whoever that may be was insufficient to do that. So we're very thankful to that group of people who were able to do that. And so anyway, that's what we did. So we're bringing that to the full board.
Okay, so coming from committee.
Right.
Any questions for Ross? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining?
Mark then went over the revenue and appropriations for fiscal year 2017, which is the year we're in. I think you all have copies of what he's done. You'll note that we've done on the revenue side quite well, particularly in the area of tuitions from other school districts. We're up 122,000 over the 400,000 we budgeted, and that's not yet complete. So the revenue is great, and we'll meet our goals in that area. Any questions? Some of them you'll see are already at 100 or 110%. Others have not yet finished. It doesn't mean we're not going to get it, just doesn't mean we haven't got it yet. So some of it will come in by the end of the year, some of it will be in the following year. Any question on revenues? On appropriations, if you go back to the back page of appropriations, which is page 27, you'll see that we're showing $769,000 in available balance. Not all of the accounts have been finished off yet, so there'll be some more shrinkage there as the year comes to an end. There's $255,000 that we will not be getting because it's revenue specifically attached to an appropriations item that we're not going to appropriate, so we can't take the revenue. That's one of those is the special ed money that's available each year because of a warrant article by the voters. And so there's approximately $500,000 left at this time, but we have some more work to do, and Mike has some numbers that he will give us as June winds down and finally finish it up in July. But both the appropriations and the revenues are in fine shape as they always are with Mark and the staff at the helm, and we haven't gotten hit too hard by any special ed needs that we hadn't budgeted for, so at least for this year we should be okay. Any questions on appropriations or revenues? The next item we took up was a proposal by Maureen for the a review of the drug and alcohol policy. That's about a 32 or 3-year-old policy maybe now. I think it was before we actually took over the place. Bob Foley and I and a few other people worked on it, so that's what we came up with. Maureen has some information she's acquired through her participation in some other activities and some new scientific research, and so she'd like us to address that, and so we formed the committee, and Phil and I, Maureen and Bernie are on the committee, so we'll be meeting probably hopefully over the summer because they'd like to incorporate, if we're going to make changes, they'd like to incorporate them in for the fall. So if you have any thoughts on the policy or haven't looked at it recently, it would behoove you to take a look at it and get some thoughts to one of the four of us, or come to our meetings. You're welcome to attend the meetings. So, yeah, Bill.
Could I suggest that we not wait until the summer in case if there's, for ever any reason there's any delay, if we could maybe sometime in June try to at least have
tomorrow night? We've only met twice this week.
I'm open.
Yeah. I would agree with you. The earlier we get started on it, the better, because it might take us a little while.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know who's in charge, but I guess you are, Maureen. Why don't you come to a meeting?
Yeah, so why don't you, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, send me any available dates you have, or 3 or 4 weeks. that you might have open, dates and times, if you just email it to me and I can see what we can pull together.
Okay. And again, I think that's all I have. There may have been something else that I've...
No, that's it,
That was
yeah.
it? Oh, no, that was under program and staffing. Program and staffing, we have some stuff going on. Okay, so that was it for...
All right, thank you, Ross.
Yep.
And for program and staffing, we met last night as well and approved the minutes from April 17th. And we heard a great presentation from our Quiz Bowl team, who went out to Chicago recently and participated for, what was it, 2 days? Or
3.
3 days of Quiz Bowl competition. The small school national championship is what they were a part of. And as I understood it, were they 6th out of 96 teams? Did we place
In their division.
6th in their division?
The small school division.
Out of 96 teams, and we were very impressed and pleased with what they had done out there. There were 4 students who competed.
5.
Should
They
have
were
been
missing.
5, but
Yeah,
one
they
couldn't
were,
come?
they were missing. There were 4 here that made the presentation, 5 are on the team.
Oh, I didn't realize the
Yeah,
5th
Mr. Lyons,
was able
Richard
to
Lyons
make it
couldn't,
out.
he had a...
Okay, all right, so that was great, and they gave us some sample questions that they had to
Which we
try to
made
answer,
copies
which
of, so
was
you can challenge
very
yourself.
impressive. So after that, we went into non-public for support staff, faculty, and personnel.
Any questions? All right, thank you. SCC?
Yes, SCC met May 1st, and we discussed the topic for next year, which is going to be, it came to us through the board, it's going to be senior seminar. And in what shape that's going to be, we're not really sure, but we had quite a good discussion on it at the May 1st meeting. A lot of concerns about the format, how it's going to go to the students in terms of content and in terms of length of time. So we hope to visit some other schools and see what they're doing and work on that. The students that were with us brought forth some concerns too. Time was one of them, with the number of credits, and there's also a discussion about a new course coming from the state. You might know a little bit about this, Bruce, that's going to be mandatory.
The market informed us there's a possibility of drug awareness piece.
Right, so
K-12,
K through 12?
yeah, education with regard to opiates and other drugs.
So
So a
with that-
kindergarten, excuse me, a kindergarten would take it 12 times?
A kindergarten kid coming in and then moving on would have it as part of a curriculum in science or health coming up through the system, but touched on at all levels.
So the reason that was mentioned to us, because that's going to be another time constraint that the student's going to have to buy into, and how much time is left. There's a lot to be...
Well, I think we're going to incorporate it into some of the classes we already teach. It doesn't. It's not going to be a standalone.
Okay.
We have to prove to the Department of Ed that those topics are covered in existing curriculum. And in many ways, they already are.
All right, so we didn't have much about that, except it was, I think, new that day in the talking arena. So that's going to be our thrust for next year. There is still discussion about, and we agreed that we would meet once a month instead of every other month. It just isn't enough time to do all that we need to do every other month. And there's a little bit of debate about when we're going to meet, first Monday or second Monday. And there are conflicts with board meetings, so that all has to be resolved. That's what's on the docket for next year.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I have a bit of a lapse here, so something may have happened, I don't know about. Your subject this year was allowing kids to use being on a varsity.
And that was...
Credit.
We decided not to
You
go.
decided, never got up to us, our level. Okay,
Correct.
that's fine, I just want to know what happened.
Didn't bring it any further.
All right, thank you.
Discussion items.
Yes, Madam Chair. A couple of issues. We have some conflicts in June within the building. And I'm wondering, for a lot of reasons, if we can move the June meeting to have the committees meet on June 26th and the full board on the 27th. What it does for us, it frees up the administrators in the building to be at those meetings, and also from the policy and budget standpoint, gives us an extra week to come up with cleaner numbers for you to make some decisions in terms of unreserved fund balance and other things, other decisions you may have to make. So if it would be possible, we'd certainly appreciate it. We'd be simply moving that second meeting back 1 week.
So we'd be going to the 27th, you said.
26th for the committees and the 27th for the full board.
Any problems with that?
I'll make that motion. Do we need a motion?
No, just as long as
I
there's an
just
understanding.
general,
That's what.
if folks,
Yeah.
if that's okay with folks?
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, I appreciate that very much.
Okay, great.
Anything else, Mike?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm just putting them
I
in
was
my
waiting for the
book,
choice.
so I...
As you know, originally, our NEASC report, and the next time we go through the certification process, accreditation process, would be in 2020. We received, and the chair received, a letter from George Edwards, who's the executive director of the NEASC, saying that because of some internal review of policies and standards, they're moving all of those dates back 2 years to the year 20. So our year would be 2022. Don't get excited. We are requesting of the board that we be allowed to ask the NEASC if we could remain in the year 2020 for these reasons. One is that both Bruce and I will be finished up by 2022, and quite frankly, both of us feel it would be unfair for new superintendent and a new principal to be handed that task in in one case their first year, and perhaps the second year in another case. So we just think that we would rather do it ourselves at that time, so that the new principal, new superintendent, wouldn't be faced with that process. So it's sort of a unique request. Usually you cut and bolt as quickly as you can to avoid that kind of thing. But after all the years of service that Mr. Parsons and I have, and I think the faculty feels more comfortable also going through the process with us, we would request that we be allowed to petition, it's not a done deal, petition the NEASC to see if they would allow us to stay at 2020.
You need a motion?
Yes, please.
So moved.
Make a motion, seconded by Barbara. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining.
Thank you very much. One more time, Ross.
Number 4, accreditation. Number 4, 40 years.
Board member concerns?
It's like 40 years.
I do have one item, and that you might remember, those who were at the last facilities meeting. We elected a board and a chair and a vice chair, and neither person was present. I heard from Walter, and due to his work schedule, he really cannot fill the vice chair slot. And Bernie very nicely agreed to do that. So I would like to put forth her nomination as vice chair of facilities. And I'm not sure,
Second.
or can I appoint her, Mark? Can I?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to appoint her, we'll do it. I'm going to appoint her, and Bernie, thank you very much for agreeing to do that. And then I would just like to encourage people to attend the committee meetings. There have been times where attendance has been kind of light. And I appreciate those who let Mark know that you're not able to come, but I do encourage you to attend those meetings where you can. And I think that's it for me.
I have one Just want to comment on the SAT testing and how that switched over to we're doing that more. From a positive note, I can't speak for everyone, but I have to believe the kiddos maybe have a little bit more buy-in because they get the results so quickly. I was really impressed with the turnaround time of getting those and just more the immediate feedback of what you did that day. So I think
also,
great.
they're usable. It could save families money if they get the sort of scores they're looking for.
Yeah.
They won't have to repeat the test at their own cost.
Yeah.
What is the turnaround time?
Well, we took it April 5th, and I got, the kids got their results 2 weeks ago. I haven't got the full results. I'm missing maybe 20 kids, but they got it 2 weeks ago. So the turnaround for the kids was remarkable. And I'm just gathering all the numbers for you to present, to show you. I don't know how the state is gonna lay it out, because they haven't given me the benchmark for math and English, so I don't know what that's gonna look like. But they do
Now we
look,
won't get that till the 27th of...
hopefully I'll have that.
If it's available for the 6th, we'll have the public hearing, and then Bruce will make a presentation for it.
Will we know the results of the 9th and 10th graders?
Yes,
testing as well?
they're a little slow on that one, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm hoping to have the whole
So we'll
kit and
get
caboodle.
that, will
Yeah.
they get that personally? Will the kids
The
get
kids won't
those
get,
results?
no, I don't know how I'm gonna send that home. I'm gonna probably have to send that home with a letter, personal letter to tell them how to read the results and that piece.
Actually, if they go on to
Yeah.
if they go on to the, what is it, college
site.
board?
College board,
And create an account,
Correct.
they can link them.
They can link them to
they
the
can
other
get
than
them
that.
now, they're available.
And obviously most of the parents with the juniors coming up, they're well aware of that. But the ninth and 10th
Right.
grade, they would not,
Can you-
because this is brand new.
Can you get that information to the 9th and 10th graders?
I hope so.
that-
I don't
okay.
know,
Just,
Bob and I
as
are waiting
far
for
as
that.
them being allowed to sign up to find out the grades, I don't know.
Do you mean the
that-
PSATs?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the younger
I think those
kids.
schools were already available, aren't they?
That's
They are.
I think, it sounds like they are, but I think
Yeah.
the 9th and 10th graders might not know that they can look it up.
They
I don't
don't.
know.
We had, as you know, we had all 9th graders, all 10th graders, and all the 11th graders take the,
Right.
this test.
Okay.
Alrighty. Any other concerns?
Not
Yes,
a
Bill.
concern, but I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Clary and our health occupation and nursing program. The ceremony was last week, I think.
It was last Thursday.
Last Thursday. And of the 9 students, all 9 have plans to go on to post-secondary in that field. So I think it speaks to the relevancy of that program. And, I mean, they're going, one's going to South Oregon, a couple up in Maine, across the country as to where they're going, in a wide variety, pharmacy, pediatrics, dentistry. It was a very nice program, and speaking with some of the parents, they really appreciated what the school and that program have done for their kids. So oftentimes we don't see that type of thing, but it was great.
And that's kudos to Mary Raymond, the instructor, who does a marvelous job. Her numbers have almost doubled the next year, which is a real positive piece for us, for that program. We spent a lot of time with that program. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you. Do I hear a motion to go into non-public session for personnel? Yes. Thank you. Seconded by Melinda.